Thank you very much, Baroness, and I will address your question at the conclusion of my remarks. So let me start by first thanking you, Baroness Pauline Neville-Jones, for your kind introduction, chairing this panel, and for your important service as Lord Chair of the Joint Intelligence Committee. Up front, I want to acknowledge the important work of Congressman Robert Pittenger. I saw him here before. He's here still. Robert? Hi. As he enhances the knowledge and judgment of parliamentarians across the world. And for dear Elisa Kearns, Chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, I thank you for tempering England's foreign affairs away from mutual assured destruction, for hosting us, and I bring you warm greetings from dear Greg Meeks, the ranker of our House Foreign Affairs Committee, and former Chairman Elliot Engel. I also thank Qatar's dear Ambassador Fahad Ali Adia for supporting Robert's noble initiatives. Before I jump into my remarks, quote, need to embrace Chamberlain and Churchill now as first step is first strike, I pause to celebrate our special relationship with Mother England and appreciate my dear family and friends present. Not everyone's present because Robert moved the program up. And in fact, we may have lost some people from the UN and the Security Council to get into the live stream. But nevertheless, my amazing wife, Ranju, so she knows I did mention her, who got the Diwali stamp issued by the Postal Service and now has a Diwali Stamp Power 1 award supported by over 80 countries in the UN, led by the EU for world-class diplomats, our miracle daughter Angela, and my brothers in hope, Kazakhstan's Ambassador Magzan Ilyasov, who's seated right here, and Philippines Ambassador Teddy Locsin, who I'm not sure is in Manila or in Beijing, but his lovely wife Louie is here. And Teddy is hosting England's Foreign Secretary James Cleverly in Manila before he goes to Beijing as Philippines Special Envoy for China. Finally, I want to salute the sacrifices of the intelligence community for verifying truth so we can trust allies and adversaries. If I can be permitted to be candid, geopolitics of hope is on life support, as diplomats are not allowed to warmly engage adversaries and instead are to be wolf warriors. And the doomsday clock is kissing midnight, as the word of many a great power is too often dishonored. But what an honor it is to be in Westminster, the place that withstood the test of time, armadas, the Black Plague, the Battle of Britain, and saw the rise of the calibrated Neville Chamberlain and the fearless Winston Churchill. Still, Chamberlain made two mistakes. His 1938 Munich Pact, falsely thinking he got peace of our time, and being unprepared to stop Hitler from invading Poland in 1939. But his mistakes are no reason to curse him for eternity, as he was redeemed by Stalin's Vyacheslav Molotov, who worked into the wee hours of August 24th and signed a non-aggression pact, Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, only to see Hitler invade Poland 8 days later. Churchill is why FDR and Stalin worked together, and Churchill is who pushed America to embrace our natural destiny, protector of freedom, not just navigation in the South China Sea. With Lincoln's motives, and I want to repeat this, with Lincoln's motives, with malice towards none and charity towards all. Paraphrasing the great philosopher William Shakespeare, quote, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are overlords," end quote. Yes, we first win, and then in our victory, we cede our future loss. We won World War I and choked the Weimar Republic, enough that Hitler was elected chancellor. Then as allies, we won World War II, created the United Nations, the Vatican a hope, including the P5 in the Security Council, which in 1971 we switched Taiwan for mainland China, and now 2 of the 5 cast vetoes, grinding the mighty council into a stalemate and allowing regional conflicts all over the world. And North Korea's Kim Jong-un, no longer acting crazy when China wanted our attention, is now his own master with a nuclear store of deadly ICBMs. Today, I know we need Chamberlain as much as Churchill, as we are cursed with nuclear-armed adversaries. So absolute victory is not possible, and allowing the first step is as bad as the first strike. Over a year ago, I wrote an op-ed about Mr. Putin's Ukrainian misadventure entitled Russian Roulette Results in Mexican Standoff. And then last September, proposed a 6-point peace plan that restores Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity and gets Russia to pay rent, and inter alia creates a joint war commission with Russian and Ukrainian judges presiding over a televised court that harnesses the power of shame. Our problems include, 1, the gift of democracy is that we have the greatest individual freedoms guaranteed by governments of limited separated powers, which autocracies structurally lack. But the strength of autocracies, long-term leaders, is institutional memory, freedom to plan long-term and honor their word, which is a structural weakness of democracies where our newly elected leaders freely ignore the word of their political predecessors. So for democracies to win this contest, and I thank Robert for holding these forums, because that's where rubber meets the road, our leadership must rediscover sacred honor, a secular epiphany which we collateralized in 1776, and one we must now compel our leaders to re-embrace. Exhibit A. We didn't honor our sacred word, memorialized in the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, more binding than Article 5 of NATO, as Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine gave up thousands of their nukes in detrimental reliance, thereby binding us without annual dues. That Russia signed the same memorandum and then invaded Ukraine is beyond the pale. Exhibit B. I see Colonel Bob Stewart in front of me, and it's his regiment that burned down the White House, which he told us over dinner last night. And we are still a family. Exhibit C is Senator Gerard Crogwell of Ireland, who after the Civil War is seated next to Colonel Bob. Number 2, while we celebrate Prime Minister Modi for restoring pride to Indians, we look askance at President Putin's dreaming of Peter the Great and President Xi Jinping's rejuvenation of China. The answer is Prime Minister Modi is not seeking to attack a neighbor and make her part of India. While Mr. Putin is doing exactly that in Georgia since 2008 and Ukraine since 2014, and Mr. Xi continues to draw 9 dashes and occupies reefs and shoals that belong to our neighbors, and also continues to use debt as a sovereignty-piercing weapon to take ports and minerals. Number 3, Ukraine's bravery is a Churchillian moment, as it is a sad result of our breach of the Budapest Memorandum in failing to protect by creating a no-fly zone, which would simultaneously open the negotiating table, and Mr. Putin would have to welcome, as he needs to negotiate a new security architecture. Number 4, the humble President Xi Jinping, since his ejection of Hu Jintao last October, confirmed to me that he's a man of honor and a real-life Count of Monte Cristo, but who is now seeking to be like POTUS, a real-life commander-in-chief of the PLA, because CCP never controlled the PLA fully. Otherwise, we would not have seen Wolf Warrior Qin Gang's promotion to foreign minister as bait and then the removal of the treasonous cancer by changing leaders of the rocket force and consolidating foreign affairs authority in a unique man without personal ambitions and who I respectfully disagree with on most issues, the great Wang Yi. I submit the solution to our problems is A, revive Neville Chamberlain to a position of honor in this era of no wars, and channel Churchill in us to act timely so as to prevent the first step of conventional war, as if it was the first strike in a nuclear war, as possession is 9/10 of the law. Just ask Ukraine or Philippines. So in the South China Sea, we should merge, partial answer to Pauline's question, we should merge the Quad, AUKUS, and NATO into a new South China Sea NATO. B, honor our word and impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine and, if necessary, over Taiwan Straits to stop any war between great powers. C, ban insults, public insults. Private is okay. Public insults from our public foreign affairs and diplomacy, and rediscover respect for our adversaries. As King Priam told Achilles after kissing the hand that killed his son, even enemies can show respect. D, don't squeeze allies or adversaries and take everything we can so we avoid the Weimar Republic syndrome. And finally, realize that after 20 years of our being in Afghanistan with our cultural influence, it didn't grow local roots. Today, imposing our secular human rights culture disturbs the faithful. Instead, dear Miguel A. Moratina, Spain's great former foreign minister and current head of UN Alliance of Civilizations, has the correct answer with cultural cohabitation. Alliance, not competition, of civilizations. This honors Pope Francis' advice that we respect all faiths and hence prevent Quran burning from impeding admission into NATO. We need to free truth from petty needs of politics to have honor. Gone are the days when kings were on the battlefield and risked their lives. If the samurai tradition of committing seppuku applied to all leaders, we would see honor return very fast. I think Colonel Bob would agree. Our problems are old. Remember the charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson was about the 1854 Battle of Balaclava during the Crimean War. We need to govern better without spilling precious blood of patriots. Okay. I'm told to finish up, so I will. I close with two quotes. Two of Churchill and one of Chamberlain. The first is his tribute to Chamberlain. Quote, he had the most noble and benevolent instincts of the human heart, the love of peace, the toil for peace, the strive for peace, and the pursuit of peace, even at great peril. The second, which I went back in time, the further backward you look, the further forward you are likely to see. And lastly, in our mad world with nukes, quote, in war, whichever side may call itself the victor, there are no winners, but all losers. So let's stop this war in Ukraine, make Mischief Reef into a tourist resort, and help President Xi end China's cultural revolution and make PLA subject to civilian rule. If we invite Russia to join NATO, we will get her no-limits partner too. Civilian disputes traded trial by combat for trial by jury 500 years ago. It's time for sovereigns to do the same. Thank you.